All right, everybody, and welcome. My name is Freight Train, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the patch changes for 5.5 and how this affects the AVGL Smite League. All right, so let's get right into it. First, we're going to start off with the general balance changes here. Actually, the Fire Giant is going to receive a little bit of buff, increased structure damage from 20 to 25%, increased the enhanced Fire Giant structure is going to go from 20 to 30%, and then obviously the Tier 1 tower. This to me is probably like really the biggest change. I mean, I honestly, the Fire Giant to structures is, I mean, if you've got a tier 1 or a tier 2 up, it's going to go down pretty quickly. This was obviously aimed at Phoenixes being a little bit difficult to siege, they were saying here. But I haven't really seen that too much in the AVGL. I mean, most sieges have been pretty successful. This is the biggest thing. This should slow down the tower dives that are going to be occurring, that you see a lot of them. I mean, we've seen some blinks in the tier 1 towers and, some crazy on-off tanking here or there by, 2 or 3 players. That's kind of painful to happen. So this change, 15 power, we'll see how that affects, especially the early game. Item balances, though, now. Yeah, a lot of hunter changes, spoilers, but this new passive on Malice is crazy to me. This just seems on successful critical attacks, your abilities deal 30. I mean, Ullr's already been really popular in the AVGL, and a lot of other gods that can come into play. I mean, this puts Malice in a really good spot. I mean, Kernanos can build crit and build a Malice. Like, imagine going ahead and getting hit by his root on his 2, or even his 3. Like, a lot of people don't understand that Kern's 3 does ridiculous amounts of damage. And 35% more for 3 seconds. I mean, a quick 2 into a root into a dash combo with an auto attack in between, you're probably going to end up dying. Malice going to be on the lookout for getting picked up a lot more on a lot more hunters. Now a little bit more on the defensive side. I mean, Guardian Mail, new passive when hit by a basic attack, enemies that have their movement speed. This is huge. This would be a great solo lane item to go ahead and try to stop some of these. A lot of these new hunter items, deal with this. Anytime you can slow MS, anytime you can slow attack speed, movement speed and attack speed are huge factors. You got to watch out who you're building this against. Obviously you don't want to necessarily do this against like a dodgy, who has like a slow immunity on their 2 or something else along those lines. But this is still a really strong passive, and the fact that it can stack to other slow effects, so you can get 30% slowed for 2 seconds and then stack another slow, like let's say a horrific. You could really eliminate someone's mobility pretty quickly with the Guardian if they start hitting the wrong target. So I like this change. Hopefully will be built more in the solo lane on some of the characters. Witchblade is a weird item. Right now they decided to increase the health to 100 to 200. No one really got this thing, man. It was just one of those, where is it? Defense, offense, they don't know what's going on. This, I still don't necessarily know if it's going to get picked up anymore, especially, it was never picked up in the AVGL to begin with, increased health. I doubt really that's much of a change. Crusher just got an FX damage. That's not a big deal. Here's some of the hunter changes, though. So physical power now granted per stack. This was an item that had to get nerfed because it was so strong, and now it's coming back around full circle. So, we see a lot of, in the AVGL especially, we've seen a lot of the games being dictated by mid and jungle. Dual lane kind of hanging out there on the left-hand side or right-hand side of the map, wherever side you're on. Just being bored, man. Ichabod is an item that you want to fight. You want to trade. So, like, because you have this item, you can go ahead and get more power, reduce power. I mean, it's like, this might make the left-hand lane, the dual lane, a little bit more interesting here. We'll see how this plays out. It's a tough item to kind of throw into. I mean, it's cheap. It's a good bridge item. It's not super tough to throw into a build, but it does slow down other things, or do you get this before your executioners, after your executioners, or you're going crit? Yeah, how late are you going in the game? This is still going to be an awkward item. Bridge items are always that. Bridge items are bridge items. We'll see where this ends up filling into play and how it ends up coming into being a staple item or not. Silver Branch Bow is obviously that got changed, so Ichabod got changed. So now this is going to get changed. Every basic attack increases your attack speed. Lasts up to 3 seconds, stacks up to 6 times. So you can have 30% attack speed for 6 seconds. This is really interesting. I mean, again, maybe gods that don't have natural steroids or I don't see like a Rama picking this up. I don't see like an Artemis picking this up. The Uller kind of has an attack speed buff at his own. He's okay there on his, the attack. It's just like, who's gonna grab this? As far as like the hunters we've seen in like the AVGL, I think we've seen like a Kurdanos, seen a lot of Ullers. An on her maybe would be nice to go ahead and have some extra attack speed because you want to get that passive online, that natural shred. A couple different options here, but this will be interesting to see if this gets paid. This has more interest to me on an attack speed purpose than per se Iqbal does with an extra power. Attack speed so strong if you're able to go ahead and actually get that damage online. Aussie though, going to have its attack speed, speaking of that, boosted up to 25% versus 20. This item is just too good to have in a lot of builds. That passive can really save you, especially if you have double lifesteal. Like if you stick this with like a Devs, or even a Bloodful or something like that, this item can really do a lot of work. Now, this is really nice. We saw a lot of gods getting the Spike Gauntlet on the AVGL. They'll try to get their Dev Gloves rushed. The fact that this is going from no power to some power should help early clear. Should help early fights. We've seen a lot of fights in the dual lane that have been dropped here or there. This should go ahead and maybe clean up one, kill every now and then. But as you see, a lot of items dedicated to hunters, and the next one is going to be this guy, which is too much money. They even said the cost spike between the tiers was too large. I mean, just being real, it was. This was a really tough purchase to grab into. So 200 down. Not going to be too bad, but the upgrade cost is the same. It says maybe we'll go ahead and see, that this makes it easier to bridge. God balances. So, Undying Love can now even cast if Aphrodite is currently in the air. That's really, really huge. Undying Love, that's knockups are the best form of CC in the game. Just flat out, plain simple, best form of CCs in the game. Because you're not able to use abilities. This really gonna put Afro in a spot where it's nice. We haven't seen any Afro in AVGL regardless, but maybe this gets some spicy solo lane picks or spicy mid lane picks. That might be optional. Let's see. Now we got Cabrakan. Oh, just adjusted the targeter, so that's fine. Damage of visibility, not a big deal. Chang'e increased the persist time of damaging area from 0.6 to 0.6 seconds. So, all right. So, just going to be a little bit of a buff to her. Going to be able to hit that damage. We saw a couple Chang'e's jungle in like week 1. We'll see if that kind of continues. And Chang'e can be really, really strong. I mean, strong CC with her ultimate, able to go through multiple targets with that stun. Again, healing over time, able to sit there and kind of just have a fight. Back up off the tier 2 tower or something like that, or a Gold Fury, kind of heal her team back up. So, now that she can do a little bit more damage, make her a little bit more dangerous. Let's see. Sobek no longer goes untargetable while plucking an enemy. He instead gains player pass-through, which allows him to be hit by enemies while he's getting ready to throw someone. Okay, well, Sobek always had like a weird little bug, like when he would go in, sometimes you could hit him, sometimes you couldn't. This seems to obviously fix that now. Just kind of a little bit more of a bug fix than anything. Let's see. Now, we did see one Ao Kuang in the AVGL. It performed okay, performed relatively well, but now you're going to have the range dragon throw. That scaling is going to go down quite a lot. So, about 12% overall, and then about 2% per dragon. So, that's going to be, a little rough for the Ao Kuang. Again, in the early game, especially in the jungle, I mean, you got to get him through that. So maybe we see less Ao Kuangs now. That might be a little bit of an issue. Daji has been banned or picked in a lot of AVGL games. A lot of AVGL games. So this is going to decrease the physical power scaling from 20 to 14%, 10 to 7 per tick. Definitely gonna limit her viability a little bit more. She's still really strong. I'm not saying like she's not a strong jungler. She has, her 2 is amazing, a lot of abilities that she has to sit there and do things, but the fact that she's going to get a little bit of this early game nerfed is obviously going to lead into her maybe not being picked as often. She was really, really strong in a lot of games, able to do a lot of work. But this is going to hurt that early rotation, clearing jungle camps earlier, getting to a place quicker than another jungler. These are all small little things that kind of add up. Yeah, probably still going to be ban worthy or pick worthy, but we'll see how the nerf hits her. Cullen. Let's see. When transformed, Cullen no longer gains access to abilities he has not put a single point into, except for his 2. Alright, well, this is like really, because at level 1, if you were to fight at level 1, you cannot fight Cullen at level 1. Like, it's terrible, because if he rage forms, he gets his 1 in his rage, he got his 2 in his rage, his event heat, his mystical mail effect, and then he got his 3, which was like his knockup and stuff. It's like, whoa, that's crazy. So not having that really gonna at least, his level 1, level 1 slash, that shouldn't be too bad. Level 2 is still gonna be a beast. Don't get me wrong, but level 1, if there is an early fight like at a blue buff or a speed buff or an invade, a lot less potent. So it looks like Smite's newest character, Discordia, been calling plenty of strife. Although pun intended. Cooldown going to be increased from erratic behavior from 16 to 18 seconds. This was this is her 3, which kind of goes invisible, all that good stuff. So this is going to slow her down a little bit. I don't. She's still going to be really strong. She's still really, really picked up. So won't be too bad. Now we got Isis. Movement speed is going to get increased. Nice. Finally. A little bit faster. Cooldown. This was her main. This was like the CC, other than the stun on the 2. The Spirit Ball, this is like the guaranteed I can hit this. This is just a, on the ground target, or you can throw it over somebody and silence them. Really good to see this come into play for cooldowns. Should help her out. And then we have increase on her ultimate. So, yeah. Isis has always been a character that can take objectives early, has always kind of struggled relatively late. Unless you land that big max range Spirit Ball, she never seemed to like chunk like you would want a mage to do. So this definitely going to help out her early game. We'll see how it ends up obviously going into the late game aspects, but this should lead into some early Gold Furies, early Pyromancers, things like that to go ahead and kind of get some control on the map. Sun Wukong, change number 1,754 on mana. They change this ability all the time. Base damage goes up, base damage goes down. This Sun Wukong is just like, I think Sun Wukong is a great solo laner. We haven't seen him in the AVGL. He's got crowd control with his 3 transformation. He can knock up, he can stun. He's got CC immunity ult. He can heal in that ult. He's got a slow on Master's Will, his 2, and he's got good poke. Character that has it all. This is just like, you have to balance him correctly, and it's really, really hard to do that. Having the base damage increased and the mana decreased is going to be helpful. So, like, the way you could level Sun Wukong was actually not max the 1, not max the culture. You could actually max the 2, which is what I used to do, because the 2 stayed at 60 mana consistently. Always 60 mana, never changes no matter how many. So I would put the 1 point into the cudgel, poke them out with it, maybe hit the front minions, group the minions, master will the minions, and then that would go ahead and get my clear going, and then I can go ahead and try to stun them or knock them up or vice versa or something like that. But the 1 was just such a mana heavy ability that you wouldn't necessarily want to do that, so it could be kind of difficult. So this is going to be a nice little change for Vulcan, or for Sun Wukong, as Vulcan is next. Vulcan, though, is going to go ahead and get some base damage increase from his backfire. Going to help him clear. Cannon does more damage to Inferno targets marked. Obviously, an increased scaling on the cannon. So this is going to help Vulcan's early game. Vulcan is a fun character to play. Really, really interesting. Love the mechanics, but he is very mechanically heavy for sure. He's a god that has to be played correctly, and when he's not played correctly, can really hinder you. But this should obviously help his early game out, give him some nice clear. So we'll see if this ends up bringing him back into things. Erlong was super dominant. This is the last change. But yeah, they're right. Erlong's Death Toll. That was what made Erlong, his attack chain, everything else, the way he was doing that. That's kind of what made Erlong. Erlong was DT. The fact that he could sustain so crazy with his attack speed, you know, and you would level his 3, the Minx, and then you would go crazy, so on and so forth. But this doesn't really happen anymore. So you're going to obviously see a change in progression swing time. You're going to see cooldown reduction per attack increased, and then you're going to see some increased scaling. When Erlong's in the game, it's, you know, he's annoying. He's highly mobile, like a Sun Wukong. That PID, his 2 abilities, very, very, very deadly. That root, really nasty for a lot of setups. I mean, you saw Eager do that. I mean, or not, you know, forever ago, like, you know, Aurora and other guys can combo off of that super, super well. I don't know if this is going to put him in, you know, we're going to see him in the AVGL or anything like that, but at least an interesting change. All right, guys, that's it. That's one take. I'm out of breath. I'm tired. My name is Ray Train. That's it for the AVGL patch notes for 5.5. Those are going to be coming out, I believe, next week. So obviously this week's games that start today, Thursday at 7 p.m., and Saturday's game at 5 p.m. still going to be played on 5.4. So come watch those at the AVGL channel again at 7 p.m. tonight where I'm casting, and then 5 p.m. on Saturday where I'll also be doing that as well. Catch you guys next time. Later.